for fun.
Yeah, good morning, MarketChameleon.com. I'm Adam. That's Will. And Will's just telling me that he's not going to be available in a week or so because he's going to be trouncing around the Caribbean on a catamaran and isn't going to have proper internet access. Is that right, brother?
No, that's part of their whole sales pitch is get away from everything. Devices are banned.
How dare you, dude? How
So
dare you? Think that
hope
you
hope
can just hire a ship and float around the Caribbean, drink pina coladas all day while I sit here and grind, man. Unacceptable, dude. Unacceptable.
wait, let's talk about sailing in the Caribbean. Didn't you rent like a 50-foot yacht when you were like 22 and take out a reef? Like I may be
I did.
snorkeling
I
that
did.
reef
That's a story for another day. Disclaimer, everybody. Option trading.
just a heads up. For
Yeah,
some reason, I am not seeing myself. I don't know
you don't need to see
if
yourself,
we
dude.
if we have
Share your
technology
screen.
issues.
Bring us
All
some
right.
info. I need data, dude. I don't need to
Uh,
see. We don't need just
all right.
frankly. We don't need to see your face.
Oh, I, I know Mike from Texas loves the bigger, fatter McBride, so I didn't want Mike to miss me.
Dude, how are you gonna? You're gonna come back from that Caribbean cruise. There's no way on earth you can maintain your weight, uh, floating around in the Caribbean. It's impossible, dude. Can't be done.
You mean the 15 pounds I've taken off are back on in
Oh,
33 days?
100%, man. 100%. There's just no,
That
it just
does,
can't be done, man. You can't float around on the Caribbean for a week or 10 days or whatever with nothing to do but eat and drink, man. I mean, come on, dude. There's no way
I don't
you
believe
don't
that.
gain weight. There's no way.
I don't believe that. I'm
All
staying.
right, we got the
I'm
screen. We're seeing it. What do you
all
got
right.
for us today, man?
Well, first thing I want to point out, I don't know if anyone watched it yesterday. Some people are getting back to us in feedback that they do like the video up here, but we put one out on watch lists yesterday, and we had I don't know, did you read any of the feedback? I know you're typically on top of that, so
I read feedback, but it was more about Fortnite and other interesting tidbits. But yeah, I
yeah,
saw a couple things. I answered some people about how do I make for watch
yep.
lists with
One,
multiple stocks at the same time. So they're looking for a way to import multiples. I wrote them back, but it's pretty easy. Um,
yep.
you just go to
You
the
want to watch?
watch list, and there's
Yep,
actually if you go to watch list, and there's a big button there which says add multiple symbols. Click that
yep,
button, and then you can copy paste in uh, all the stock symbols. So if you have
right
them
there.
stored in an Excel or whatever, you just paste them in there, and boom, you're good to go.
Yep, the button's right here in the right hand side,
Yep.
right next to add symbol. You just need to separate them by a comma,
Space, enter,
semicolon.
whatever. Either way,
Yep,
it
add
works
symbols,
pretty seamless there.
and you drop down whatever you want to drop it into. All
Yep.
right, just thought I'd mention that. I was going to talk about Apple today. I'm wondering, do you use the Apple? One of the bills that shows up every month is my Apple Music.
Oh
Do
no,
you?
dude. No, drop that, man. Drop that. Unless you're, I mean, I always Spotify's way better, way better, in my opinion. Just the way it
Wow.
works, it's
I mean,
smoother. It just works better.
this is like fishing for mackerel in the Caribbean. Let's bring up Spotify right there.
Yep.
Love Spotify.
I love the
So,
service. We chatted about that the other day. I'm not sure of the business model, man. I'm not sure of
all
it.
right.
Obviously, these guys are all in a race to grab as many users as they can. Um, but still not sure, not sure about that business model. You know, it's just, you get the feeling, I get the feeling that, Apple, I mean, Apple gives away a certain amount of months of free Apple Music when you buy the iPhone. There's all sorts of things where they have an advantage over Spotify. Um, as does, Android or whatever. I mean, it's just Spotify, it's head on a swivel, man. It's tough, man. I mean, I like their service. I use their service. We pay the premium, I don't know, like $15 a month or whatever, the super premium. Uh, but that said, hyper competitive. What do the numbers show us?
So, so why do you like? Why do you? I mentioned Apple Music. You're like, get rid of that. Is that just because the
Oh, I'm just trying to
service?
get you on something that's more enjoyable, man. Just better. I'm just trying to
What
upgrade your life.
what makes Spotify better than Apple
It's
Music?
it's they have better if you're looking for better playlists. They have curated content where if you follow people, they're putting out new music every week where they're telling you what to listen to, as well as I just like the interface and stuff is super. Well, not super. It's good. It's not great. It's good. And is much better than Apple. Apple, surprisingly enough, just can't get there. I mean, has anybody used iTunes recently? What a piece of garbage that thing is, man. It's incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. They can't get that tech right. It's just amazing to me.
Apple can't get the tech right.
Can't
Is
get
that
the
what you're
tech right.
telling us? I'm looking at the strategy payout in Apple right now to
But that
see if
said,
we.
Apple has a big, you got the thing in your pocket, so they kind of control it to a degree, and when those phones come, you know the way it is. When those phones come with Apple Music on the home screen and, it's there automatically, uh, they have an advantage, big advantage.
You just said you didn't like the music.
Dude, I don't like the music, but I love the phone and the way I mean, come on, man. We've talked about this, dude. The way they lock you in, man. They lock you in. Yeah, you may not. Maybe Apple Music's not the winner for them, but Apple Music doesn't need to be a winner for them. It's a side hustle for them.
Is it a side hustle?
Yeah.
Once those phones stop being repurchased, which I think is going on now. I know I've had my phone now for almost 2.5 years.
Yeah, but
Once,
what'd you do for Christmas, dude? You bought 2 phones for your kids, man.
yeah. Well, yep. They do that. Much like Disney, they do get you early.
Mm-hmm.
All the kids are absolutely Apple fanatics. I
Very
mean, it's
smart. Very smart. Well,
well.
I've told you my strategy for Google, Android, Samsung, because I don't see them really doing that as much. They try to get you in with a lower price point, which is fine, but at that higher price point, I think Google should or Android or Samsung should provide a person or a service where they help you transfer over from Apple. That's my feeling on it, because I know for me and probably for you, the thought of you switching to Google Pixel is terrifying, right? How do you get all your stuff on there properly so it all works? It's
Well, for me, it's not as bad because I use a lot of the Google products.
yeah,
So, but I do agree. Just switching phones and the thought of switching all your contacts and
yep,
I mean, I actually save all my my photos and stuff in the Google
in
Photos as
Google, yeah,
well.
mm-hmm.
So, which they do seem to curate a nice video
They do.
after every vacation
They do.
gets.
Google really does have a better. I mean, they're just ahead of the game as far as search goes. When you're searching for your face or somebody else's face in Google Photos, it just works way better than anybody else's. Really, I mean, we have at work. I use a professional service for our photos, and I tell you, it's incredible that these companies even exist when you compare it to Google, because Google is such a leader as far as that searchability. When you're on a site that you're paying, I don't know, $100 a month for, or $100 a year for a photo storage site, and they can't even search your photos. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, no, it is a very interesting.
Dude, tech is hard, man. Tech is hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to
Is
do.
fintech hard? I feel like fintech's hard.
I don't even know what fintech. What is that?
That's our space. Technology, cutting edge technology in finance.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is our space. No, what we do is hard, dude. How many years did it take to build this thing, man? This is a solid 5 years of labor. 4 guys.
Feels like a lifetime. Well, it's 4 years to build out the website
Yeah.
and what we have, and then it's
That's just to build the thing. 4 times,
and then it's
2,000 hours. It's 8,000 hours a year times 5. That's 40,000 hours into this thing, man. It's not simple.
And then it's 20 years of options trading experience and taking all
right.
that
Just to get the functionality right. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. Anyways, I screened for in Apple while we were conversing. I screened for credit call spreads
Yep.
for to take a bearish position in Apple. It's had a nice little run here. If you do want to start leaning to the short side with credit spread, so you identify your risk, take in some money, have some good win rates, even have some upside cushion if the stock moves, say another 4%, another 5%. There are a lot of opportunities in Apple in the next couple weeks to months. I looked out as far as 60 days. So
Okay.
you can take a look at that. The last thing today is about halfway point for the earnings.
Yep.
So I did a quick screen of our back tester for everything coming out tomorrow, just to give everyone a quick look of what the premium package can show you right away. I screened 12 observations, a win rate above 70%, average return 10%, median return also above 10%, pop down for something coming out the next biz day.
Mm-hmm.
And how many entrants did we get? We got 7 pages of entries on the first page. So there are 157 potential ideas to.
I scroll down a little bit so we can see the diagram better.
This is just a nice new feature. I think I may have mentioned it earlier in the week.
Yep.
But besides telling you short 125 delta put, it also gives you the payout diagram, which is kind of a nice feature. And that's a 1 day. You do it the day before, so you do it today and take it off 2 days after. So just looking at Cboe, go into the option chain. You have the earnings is right there.
Yep.
Remember that the delta is right here. It's got a drop down, so you can also see open interest, gamma, vega.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd go, the 25 delta would be 92.5. It's a pretty wide market. I don't know if it closed a little wide, so it'd be something that I'd want to play between the markets, or even maybe look to spread with something lower.
Yo, dude, what are the seats on the exchanges? Do those have any value anymore?
There isn't one.
Back in the old days, if anybody doesn't know, you used to have to buy a seat at whatever exchange you were trading on just to get down on the floor and be able to trade. And they traded at quite a pretty penny back in the day. What about now, dude? What are those things worth now?
Sadly, there's not a seat available anywhere. There are no seats. Everything's been rolled up into a publicly traded company.
That's the way it actually works. So did those people, like, did you guys own a seat on the Philex? Is that how it worked with you guys in the Philly?
We owned we owned American Stock Exchange sheets.
Yep.
We actually.
Oh boy, here it comes, man.
It's a
bring
story.
Bring your face up so we can talk about it. Tell me about it, dude. What?
All right. Well, everyone.
All right. So tell me how much you spent.
No.
What it cost to get in on that one?
It's too personal, but it's typical of.
Okay, so you spent $450.
No. It was a great. No. We made wonderful return on
on that seat
on those seats. But the thing was, we completely we looked at it like it's a real estate investment. They own this great building in Manhattan, yada yada yada, and it all came down to management of the organization. And we bet on the worst managed exchange.
Oh, really?
And of all the returns of all the exchanges, we got the least return. Let's say we tripled our money.
Oh.
Some of the exchanges.
But still, other guys 10x their money.
Well, like the Philex, which was a smaller regional exchange, did way better for their seat holders.
You were able to get a seat for like what, $40,000 or something on the Philex or something.
At the time, they got down to 10. And
wow.
And obviously it's point of entry too. And we used the seats
to trade
instead of leasing them. We used them to trade too. So
sure.
it was but we did buy a couple speculative, and it was. There were other exchanges. We did.
Well, you won on all of them, but you didn't.
All the members who own seats made money on their seats.
Yep.
Knock on wood. But if you were playing it from a speculative standpoint,
someone
it's
more
good.
Than others. That's life, dude.
It's good.
You just described every investment ever, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, one little quick thing. If you want to bring your screen back up again. This morning I saw some news popping through about some poor performance in the video gaming sector. Did you hear about this, man? Did you hear about that?
I did. What's the
So if you're looking at EA Sports, Electronic Arts, EA, I think is the ticker. Why don't you share your screen with us there, man? So EA, I think had some poor numbers. It might have dropped, I don't know, 30-40% from its high. That's Electronic Arts.
You see
also,
it? Wow, it's way off its high.
Yeah. And this is what I just wanted to touch on it again. Look, it's so hard, so difficult to pick winners in this space, and the reason is that it's really dependent on hits, right? It's almost like betting on a movie studio, right? Where if these guys don't have hits for a year or two, something that produces, there's Activision. Yeah, it got blown up too. And this is what's happened. Activision, they both had some kind of numbers that didn't. They both came out with some updated games, new games, and these things took a beating, right? So you need to be really, really careful on what goes on here. I mean, I like the space, but it is so difficult to predict who's going to have the winner. I mean, you like what EA has, which is, the Madden franchise, the FIFA franchise, these franchises that come out every year, right, and just perform, right? But like they had the FIFA came out, FIFA didn't do as well. People didn't buy the new FIFA, right? Because it's whatever, it's $50, $60 every year to buy the new one. If you don't have a ton of cash, you don't buy the new one, right? And so their numbers get impacted. But head on a swivel.
Well, no. I mean, the big thing is Fortnite, right? Fortnite's taken a piece of everyone's performance.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would say it's there as much as anything. I just did a quick screen of Electronic Arts.
Yep.
And there are a lot of opportunities to take a look in both a sideways market. You can look at the bearish market. Do a quick screen.
Yep.
I'm sure in both of these there are opportunities.
I mean, for me, Electronic Arts is kind of like the stalwart. And so if you're looking to get into the space with a company that has, it's like a studio that owns Marvel, right? They can keep pumping out Marvel. It's like Disney that owns, that owns Star Wars. They can keep pumping out a Star Wars movie every 2 years, right? EA has that, right? So you're looking at that's kind of the more of the big dog, while others not so much. And I tell you, man, dude, if I was in Fortnite, man, I'd be looking to sell, man. I would be looking to sell.
We'll end it there. Sell, Mortimer. Sell.
Wait,
one
more
Mortimer.
Thing just to look at if you're looking at that space today. I saw that Microsoft, who owns Xbox, has come to an agreement with Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch to allow Xbox Live to be on Nintendo on the Switch. And this might not sound like a big deal, but this cross-platform play I think is going to be important going forward for those companies that want to engage in it. So far, Sony doesn't seem to want to engage. They want you to play on the Sony PlayStation platform only, right? They don't want you playing with friends on Xbox because they're concerned that people buy Xboxes. But I think it sets Microsoft and Nintendo up to create a relationship that will enhance the playing experience. Because when I look at my kid playing Fortnite, dude, it's all about friends and connections. And if one player, Sony, doesn't want to play with the others, I look at that as a negative for them and a positive for Microsoft and Nintendo. So something to think about.
Look at you! Look at you! Whoa, you're bringing it today. That's awesome. I'm screening. Look at SNE, Sony, see if there are any bearish plays in it. I mean, there's a lot there. We'll have to go back to that one at a later date. That was top notch.
All right.
Love that.
All right, everybody. Remember, click down below, subscribe button here on YouTube. And remember, comment. So if you're watching this after the fact, you can comment, ask us a question. Just say Chameleon Cup in the comments. And what's today? Is today Thursday? Wednesday? Tuesday? I don't know, man. On Friday of this week, we're going to give away another Chameleon Cup, man. You can join the club.
I'm hearing rumors of the first Chameleon meetup coming in London, and you may be attending.
I might make it over there, dude. Summertime, go visit family. We got family over there. Go to the farm, visit the acreage, as I like to call it.
I mean, maybe we could do a show with the whole Chameleon community.
Oh my God, it'd be amazing. Background.
Right from a pub. Oh, I thought it was going to be you and the Londoner in a pub with all the chameleons at a meetup.
That would be awesome. Actually, that would be awesome. Or we could do it from the eye, on the top of the eye. How awesome would that be?
Yeah,
we could get Wi-Fi up there, man.
I'm sure you could. You can get anything up there.
All right, everybody. Have a great day trading. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Thanks for joining us, Chameleons.